So Jared Vanderbilt got an extension. If you guys didn't see, news came out that Jared Vanderbilt extended with the Lakers for 4 more years. And honestly, this was kind of crazy. People weren't really expecting Jared Vanderbilt to be signed this quickly and this good. Uh, well, under this contract, right? Jared Vanderbilt got a 4-year, $48 million extension, which is a lot of money for a player who, doesn't start every game. But what we can really see from the Lakers is that they care about depth now, and this shows it. But I'll get into that for a second. Jared Vanderbilt agreed to a 4-year, $48 million extension, and I think this happened like right before the play-in tournament. He was a great player, and really Jared Vanderbilt is the defensive guy of the Lakers. Let's face it, the Lakers are good defensively, right? They have guys like Anthony Davis, and they had Dennis Schroeder last year, which were guys who could actually get it done. But this year, they were looking worse as they signed Gabe Vincent and they signed, some players like Christian Wood, which are not particularly great at defense. And what I really looked at from this team was like, what are they going to do defensively, right? Because look, last season they had Dennis Schroeder, Anthony Davis, and Jared Vanderbilt, and that gave you three really solid defenders. Dennis Schroeder was a point of attack defender who could guard guards and pick up even centers if you really put him there. Like, he would get bodied, but he would be a pest. He would get steals, and he would really make it tough. If you actually watch the playoff games and the play-in games, the dude was instrumental in shutting down other people's stars. Like Steph, as good as he is and as good of a series as he had, he still was suffering a lot due to Dennis Schroeder. So losing that guy, you need someone to like kind of, stick around, because losing such an important guy. Then you had Jared Vanderbilt, which was like the wing defender who could switch on anybody. Jared Vanderbilt will go on guards, wings, and centers, forwards, big men, and smaller players, and he would just guard everybody, right? He's long, has great instincts. He's 24 years old. He's 6'8". He's 214 pounds. He's the perfect, like, just combination defensive piece for the Lakers. Then Anthony Davis was the paint protector, and he was the guy who guarded centers, right? He would be there to shut it down, And this caused the Lakers to have great defense, if we're being honest. They could actually guard players, because LeBron is unmovable. He's 6'9", so it's going to be very hard for other forwards to get in his way. And a guy like, like D'Lo or Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves has enough size to not be moved by other guards, and he plays hard defense, right? He's one of these guys where it's like the defense is not great, but he plays defense, And it's like the Larry Bird defense, where it's like I'm gonna do everything that I can, even if my defense in itself is not that great. I'm still gonna put my best effort through, and that worked. Defensively, they were great, but now that they re-signed guys like Rui and D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Davis and Austin Reeves. They brought in Christian Wood and, Jackson Hayes too, but I don't really want to talk about him. Now that they've really, they're rounding out their lineup, with Gabe Vincent also, and they're keeping their guys, and LeBron and AD with that AD extension. Now that their lineup is fully rounded out and most of them are under contract, we had to talk about the most important piece, defense. Because honestly, let's face it, the Lakers right now are good, but they, in my opinion, need a defensive scheme to really make this lineup click, right? The Lakers right now have been in the fight for making a good team, and they have the best team that they've ever made, And this team, which they have right now, right, is really good, but it really is going to take a special coach to know how to coach this team. And that's where I'm coming in and saying, I need Darvin Ham to step up next season. Darvin Ham, the coach of the Lakers, is a 2-year head coach who has been great and has consistently been a coach which has made right decisions and has pushed the Lakers pretty far for being a first and second year head coach, right? But now he has the team, right? And I'm not a big fan of guys firing coaches just because they don't win. But Darvin Ham has now been given the opportunity of, you have LeBron, you have AD, and you have a competent, great team around him. Last season you did great, but guys just got outskilled by the champions, and that was it. There was nothing better that they could have done in that Denver series. Denver was just clearly better. But next season is the time where Darvin Ham, LeBron James, and Anthony Davis are going to show their true colors, and especially Darvin Ham as a coach is going to be able to prove himself with a great team. And that I feel like is important, and I feel like that even if we look at people saying, right, oh, this team is not that good, this team is whatever, let's be great. Now, this is not just about Jared Vanderbilt. I also wanted to talk about two other signings. I wanted to talk about the Mavs re-signing Markieff Morris. I love that. Now, of course, this is not as big. That's why I spend most of the time talking about Jared Vanderbilt, because I do believe it's the most impactful signing. But I also wanted to talk about Markieff Morris is going to Dallas. I believe this is honestly pretty good. He's 6'9", 245. He's been known to be able to play well, and he's recently shot really well from three on up around 2 attempts per game in in Dallas last season and in Brooklyn. And I just believe that he could probably get a really good situation from playing with Luka. He's one of those guys who's always benefited from having a great guard, a great person to facilitate everything. And that, honestly, you could see it because some of his best seasons were in Washington in 2017, when John Wall was there. And you could see it even in other teams, right, where he shined through being with great point guards. And in my opinion, that's really good to see that he went to Dallas, because even if it's just add another body in there, a veteran who's been in the playoffs and won a championship before and made it to the finals, I believe that will help Luka and the team, as what they mostly need is depth, and they really need, someone who can actually hold them down as opposed to more young players and draftees. The other signing I want to talk about is the least blockbuster signing is Taj Gibson returns to Washington. I just wanted to talk about this because I like Taj Gibson, just purely based off the fact that he's a good vet, and I believe that he'll be good to have in Washington for guys like Jordan Poole. Even though Jordan Poole's been mentored by probably the 3 best vets in the NBA, which are Steph, Clay, Dre, and then Steve Kerr, I do believe that it will help him to be with other veterans, like Kristaps. Not Kristaps, I'm sorry. To be with other vets like Taj Gibson and to be with another young player like Kyle Kuzma. I believe that it will do good for Jordan Poole to have that veteran presence, someone who's actually been in the NBA. And even though, yes, Poole's won a ring, Poole's still a kid. He still has parts of him which need to develop. And I do believe that Jordan Poole needs more time, right, to actually find himself, because right now he plays this new era of NBA guard, which is like the Tyler Hero, Jalen Green, Kevin Porter Jr., and like Jordan Poole, which is just like very shifty, disregard every rule, non-fundamental, like shoot a lot of shots, a low percentage type of shooting guards which are in the NBA. And I do believe that if Poole can actually like gain some muscle, get his defense right, and he could actually become like a D Wade-esque type of player, right? Or like Kobe-esque player where more defense and a really well offensive machine. And I believe that is like the ceiling for Jordan Poole, right? maybe not Kobe and D Wade, but like somewhere around their play styles. And I believe that in Washington, maybe that can be fostered and expanded on with the right use of vets. And I hope that Taj Gibson can be that piece which can guide him through some of the things that he needs to go through. So tell me what you think about these three signings and re-signings, and I'll see you next video.